you saw yesterday's speech, what does it mean?
Well, yesterday's speech means many things. I remember last September, I been in the meetings in the workplaces, at the open meeting to discuss problems in Cuba. I remember that I told my colleagues, be prepared because a new way is coming, a new way of doing things is coming, including organization and planning. In my place, we precisely assist the city government in topics like planning, strategies, organization, and there is a demand for that, and that is now reacting. So we were called now to help more, to be more helpful and more active in the planning process, to plan, not to, to have less, say, showy actions. Let's do this and now. It's more calm, but to arrive to the end in a practical way and doing things that we can do, really do, not to dream about things, and then things are never completed, or you have a flashlight but there are no batteries. So I gave you an example about the buses. Buses are waiting, incredibly, buses are waiting for the drivers, but they are also waiting for the streets to be repaired. In another moment than this, there would be going around to be shown that we imported 500, 1,000 buses from China. Buses are everywhere, not selecting, not qualifying the drivers, not preparing the street, not preparing traffic lights and signs and so on. And this is a symbol or a sign of difference, that things are prepared to last, and done not to have a visual or immediate or a pompous impact, but to have a long-lasting impact. We have buses, because in Cuba, people used to say, let's go, for example, a new place is open, and people say, let's go there before it gets worse. It's a phrase, a common phrase. People say, let's go there before it's disorganized or the service goes down, And the idea here is to sustainability, to bring in things that will work. So not making noise. Every day you see more buses in the streets. Everything without making any noise. In 1 year, agriculture showed a dramatic growth of 24% up. It's true that the previous year was very bad, but it means that the government is paying more attention to the problems related with food, or the problem about the milk. And makes more sense. It's not only about resolving. In Cuba, resolver is to resolve. The question here is not, the political discourse sounds more than to solve rather than to resolve. Okay, let's go do that. Okay, what do we need to do? Instead of generating a pressure, they just are given, the way Raul goes is, okay, he just delegates and controls, and he never appears. It's a different dynamic. And so we were talking about that. You must be prepared, because we will be asked to prepare budgets, more controlled budgets, more accurate economy, more integrated actions, and everything we do will be done and can be done. That makes a difference. That is one of the signs. So yesterday I remember that he repeated, institutionalize, because that seems to be the end of things that, like we call on the left, that are parallel to the structures. Things that are in a kind of limbo, but sucking money from the budget, out of control, and at the end disturbing the situation. So this, for me, means that there will be a rationalization of the entire apparatus of the state in order to reduce meetings, in order to reduce personnel, because you just create something and it starts growing. So it doesn't matter when you say, okay, we will create this ministry and this ministry will have only a small number of workers. 2 or 3 years after, it's full. Because red tape has the ability to regenerate itself. It is like a tumor. It has fast-growing cells. So that is for me a very important message. Some people expected that everything is going to be explained in that meeting. I said, this is a meeting to talk about general problems, and he mentioned every problem that people have in mind. So he has been following a line since his first speech, or since his first appearance. The first was on December 2nd, 2007, when the 50th anniversary of the Armed Forces, when he sent a message to the United States, let's solve the problems, our pending problems, let's negotiate. The second was in December, when he, for the first time, he addressed the Assembly with problems, internal, not external problems. So that is a change. We're not projecting our image outside, but we are talking about problems that we have inside. So for the first time, he was critical, and he asked the Assembly to be less passive. And yesterday he insisted, talk. We would not deny the people the opportunity to talk. We need to speak out. Do it the right way in the right place, but do it. And he said even we need to understand when somebody is criticizing, is critical because he's stressed by a given situation or has a personal problem or is not well informed. Mm-hmm. So we need to inform, and we need to understand when people are pressured for that. But it's important that for the first time you are asked to talk and to discuss and to be heard. That's very important, because at that level, at the political level of the government, saying hear and be heard is introducing the culture of debate. Only together, only putting together all the ideas, the good ones and the bad ones, we can arrive to a consensus. That's it. But that is for me the most important part of it. Other people were waiting for specific things, the elimination of the restriction of the permit to travel or access to hotels. That is secondary. Because at the end, the more important problems in Cuba are, first, salary. If the basic principle of socialism is you work according to your capacity and you are rewarded according to your work, this is not working. So the first you have to do is to put that principle in the front line. We need to solve the problem. People work for something, and people need to be rewarded according to the work, and it's not paying. So that means that you have to merge both currencies, and you have to solve the tremendous distance between the higher paid, the better paid, and the lower paid. Now it's huge, enormous. And that question that you are paid in pesos and they charge you in CUC, in hard currency, doesn't make sense. So everybody needs hard currency. And the other very important question for me is to talk about the burden of subsidies. Subsidies in the Cuban context are an unbearable burden. And that means the rationing card. The ration card means la libreta, that is a burden, and it's better, it's more rational. It makes more sense to subsidize people and not goods. Okay, low income families can have a benefit, and you don't need to give everybody the same benefit.